Hello, everyone. Welcome to Court with Krissy. I've got an update for you on the TikTok influencer and OnlyFans model. It starts with a plea and ends with a remand to jail. If you happen to miss the earlier video, check the description below. I hope you like it. Court with Krissy is now in session.
Start with the plea.
Sure.
All right. So, Mr. Hoy, you wish to accept the plea offer from the prosecutor, which is to plead guilty to count 2 of the amended criminal complaint, and count 2 is assault or assault and battery, a 93-day misdemeanor. The original count 1, assault with a dangerous weapon, a 4-year felony, that would be dismissed. So, to begin, you wish to accept this offer and plead guilty. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, are you on any probation or parole at this time?
I don't know if it's a bond release agreement. I have been doing random UAs and 4 times a day check-in through a services app, sir.
He's not on probation, he's on bond here.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like you've got some pending matters in other states that we can talk about in a bit, but all right. So other than this plea offer from the prosecutor, has anything else been promised to you, or have you been forced, threatened, coerced, or had anything done to you to make you plead guilty against your will?
I'm playing under my own recognizance, Judge.
All right, so you're pleading freely and voluntarily, right? It's your own decision to plead guilty, right?
Yes, Judge.
All right, and you've discussed all of your rights to trial then with Ms. Conlon, is that right?
Yes, Judge.
And do you understand that by pleading guilty, you're giving up all those rights and you won't have a trial? Do you understand that?
Yes, Judge.
All right. And was Ms. Conlon then appointed to represent you?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, so the information then states, on or about April 5th of this year, Grand Traverse County, you made an assault or assault and battery on a Christopher. Are those basic facts correct?
Yes, Judge.
All right, so do you want to forward your client on what?
Okay. Mr. Hoy, were you staying at an Airbnb?
Yes, ma'am.
And you were staying there with your fiance, Miss Denacolo?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did you folks invite some people over that evening?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And was one of those people Christopher?
Yes, ma'am.
And at one point, did Mr. lock you out of the apartment?
I walked myself out, actually.
Did the door get locked, or you weren't able to regain entry when you wanted to?
Yes, yes. It was after I walked out, and I was going to walk back in, but the lock was being held closed, so I couldn't put the pin in.
All right. And when you did regain entry, did you shove Mr. while that was happening?
I did, ma'am. He was standing at the door. It was to push him back from the door so I could gain entry to the room.
Okay. And so you agree that he wouldn't want you to push him in that way, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And it wasn't done just kidding around or anything like that?
No.
It wasn't that you were engaging in horseplay or anything? Okay. And you weren't doing it in self-defense?
No.
I don't have any other questions here.
All right. Did he mention anything about striking Mr. Closed fist?
No, he maintains he shoved him, Your Honor, which I think is sufficient for an assault and battery.
Yeah, okay. All right, so accept the plea to count 2. We'll dismiss count 1. All right, so it's about 10:08. Prosecutor's still not here. I don't know what's up there, but why don't we just talk about the bond issue?
Okay. The first issue was the no contact with Ms. Denacolo. On the original complaint, she is noted as a victim. There were some other witnesses there that allegedly saw something happen between Mr. Hoy and Ms. Denacolo, which they both deny. Ms. Denacolo, Mr. Hoy has not been charged with domestic violence or any action towards Ms. Denacolo. She's not been charged with anything. She's not a co-defendant. I've spoken to her a couple of times. She's been consistent that she doesn't want to have a no contact order with Mr. Hoy and does want to have contact with him. So we would ask, I don't really understand the reason for the no contact order. We'd ask that it be lifted. She actually sent me a letter requesting that, but also since she's here today, I think the best evidence is for the court to just inquire of her.
All right, so the reason probably that the no contest as to Ms. Benicolo is because allegedly when this situation started, it's alleged Mr. Hoy grabbed a large kitchen knife. I'm looking at the probable cause from here and threatened everyone. So I'm assuming that was Ms. Benicolo as well with the knife.
Well, that is an allegation, Your Honor. There were also two other persons in the apartment. If that's the rationale, there was, the magistrate thought there was probable cause that Mr. Hoy committed a felonious assault against everyone in the apartment. I don't know why the other two persons wouldn't have been named, but.
So where is Mr. Hoy?
He's in town, Your Honor. He's staying at another Airbnb.
So it looks like I don't know where he's from originally, the state of Washington.
He's from Washington, Your Honor. He's only here temporarily. That was the other issue that we wanted to address.
Wants to go back?
Let's go back to Washington.
Where is Ms. Benicolo, Washington?
No, she's here as well.
Oh.
She's been staying elsewhere. So it's been difficult for them, which is why they want the no contact lifted so they could stay together. Mr. Hoy, I think he just got another Airbnb for 3 more weeks, but he would like to go back to Washington after that time. He's got a temporary job painting.
Okay. Have you talked to the prosecutor about this?
I haven't.
Person from the prosecutor's office is zooming in shortly.
All right. So before he gets here, in order to keep going here, looks like there's a pending 2024 OWI possession of marijuana, no security in Illinois. We had some kind of Zoom hearing on April 15. There's a 2021 domestic violence in Washington, the state of Washington, had some kind of proceeding on April 8th of this year at 9 a.m. So one thing I would ask is, in terms of this domestic violence, is Ms. Benicolo the alleged victim?
I don't believe so, Your Honor. I believe it was Mr. Hoy's ex-wife. Is that correct, Colin?
Yes, ma'am. I was removed from the house. My ex-wife had had left and then had gotten a no contact order. There was no physical violence or anything involved. I was just removed from the house, ma'am.
Well, all right. And in 2024, also in 2024, there's a pending OWI in Illinois.
Correct.
And there's also allegedly a charge along with that called a marijuana charge and then transporting dangerous material and operating an unregistered vehicle.
Are those all part of the Schaumburg, Illinois charges? We're done. This hearing was at 10:30. I got it.
And looks like he's got a valid PPO out of the state of Washington, just issued February 8th. So I'm assuming those are his children, is that right? Maybe his ex-wife?
Correct.
All right, well, is Mr. Olson, is he going to zoom in or is he gonna come over?
He didn't specify. I had expected that he would zoom in, but I guess I don't know for certain
yet.
So there's a request I think there are 2 requests. It would be to lift the no contact and then allow Mr. Hoy to leave Michigan to go back to the state of Washington until sentencing, is that?
Correct, because I anticipate do you have a proposed sentencing date, Ms. Seifert?
May 23rd.
Okay, and that's fine with me.
That would be then at 10 a.m. And there also are a few bond violations that I'm seeing in the ROA as well.
I had no knowledge of any of that.
All right, well, we'll get to those.
I can't do the 23rd at 10 because I have a front of the court hearing at 10:15.
Okay.
Um,
What do we have? Can you do a 9:30?
sure, that would be
Okay.
fine. I just don't want
Okay.
to press it too close.
No, that's fine.
Okay, so Mr. Olson's here now. So Mr. Olson, because the probable cause form here was clear that Mr. Hoey, this is Colin Hoey, he pled guilty to count 2. That's the offer. Assault and battery, and the felony is dismissed. Ms. Conlon has made 2 requests on Mr. Hoy's behalf. That is to lift the no contact order. So his fiance, Ms. Denacolo, is here. She is one of the persons protected by the no contact order. She's not a co-defendant. She's named as a victim in the complaint, the amended felony complaint, but she's here to speak. I haven't talked to her yet. Mr. Hoy has a pending OWI in possession of marijuana and no security in Illinois. He had a Zoom hearing on April 14 of this year. I'm not sure what happened there. He's got a pending domestic violence in the state of Washington. That's a 2021 case. Had a Zoom hearing on April 8th. I'm not sure what happened there. And he's got a pending OWI in Illinois.
Is that the same case?
Is that the same?
I think it's the same case.
But it's different. We have different Zoom hearings.
Judge, may I clarify some of that for you?
Well, hang on just a second. And there's a valid PPO at this time that was issued February 8th of this year, protecting his, is she still his spouse or former spouse?
Are you divorced from?
We're
She's
in
your
the
ex-wife.
process.
Oh.
We're in the
Sorry.
process of the divorce.
So it's his wife protected by the PPO and 3 of his children protected. So that's where we are. So let's see. Well, Mr. Hoy, what do you want to say about distinguishing these 2 OWI cases here?
Well, for one, Judge, I have not been making the best choices and were actually left homeless during the process of this divorce. So I did make some mistakes, but I'm in contact with a public defender in Washington and one I was just appointed yesterday in Schaumburg. I had Zoom appointments to attend all of the proper channels for these offenses. And I had actually missed a court date in Schaumburg because I was incarcerated in Traverse City and not allowed to leave. And I had a Zoom court yesterday actually for the Schaumburg case, and they're being handled, sir.
All right. And Mr. Hoy doesn't reside in Traverse City. However, he's in a Airbnb here. Ms. Denacolo, his fiance, is in another Airbnb in Traverse City or someplace in Traverse City because of the no contact. And I've just learned from Ms. Seifert that there are bond violations in the ROA. So what are those?
So it looks like the benchmark UA was positive for THC. There was another UA that was completed, also positive for THC. There have been missed check-ins with the Court Fact app on April 19th, April 21st, and April 22nd.
All right, so we have those. I guess since now we have those, we should probably, do you need to time to talk to him?
Sure.
I mean, if you want, I mean, maybe he knows what he wants to do.
Well, let me
All right.
zoom in and we'll do a breakout room. Because
Okay.
I have, that's been one of my biggest frustrations with the court, frankly, Your Honor, is defense attorneys are never notified of bond violations. And it really puts us in bad situations quite often. So,
All right.
that said, I'll go zoom in.
Your Honor.
Mr. Hoy, yeah?
Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor. I was going to ask for a breakout room with Ms. Denacolo. or Ms. Dinacolo.
Okay, that's fine. I don't think we can do two at one time, can we?
They can do two at one time. They just have to be done at the same time. And if you want me to come up and we can,
Sure.
we can walk through that together. 'Cause
Okay.
we normally do that. So,
Okay,
but I know that we can. They just have to be done at the same time.
okay. So that's what we'll do. I've never done that before, but that's what we'll do. So Ms. Denacolo, you'll have to unmute, and this is Daniel Olson. He's an assistant prosecutor. You'll be put in a private virtual breakout room with him in just a second, and then Mr. Hoy, you'll be in a private virtual breakout room in just a second with Ms. Conlon. So, all right. So
Yes,
take your time. Okay. All right, looks like everyone is back from the breakout rooms. So, all right, I think we're up to Mr. Olson. He hasn't had the chance to weigh in on this request. So, Mr. Olson, what would you like to say?
Yes, Your Honor, I was able to speak with Ms. DeNicolo, and the people have no objection to her being removed as a protected person under the conditions of bond. We would ask that the no contact order remain as to Christopher. I don't have any reason to believe that there may be contact with that party, but just to make sure that there's no contact, electronic or telephonic, between the defendant and Mr. We would ask that for that to remain in place.
All right, so I actually have a couple of questions for Mr. Hoy. Did you know this Mr. before you connected with him at the bar that night?
I did not, Judge. We met there at an event there.
All right, magistrate set your bond at 20,000, 10%. Who paid that $2,000?
I believe that it may have been Christina, Judge. I was just released and returned to the Airbnb. I wasn't told who actually paid it. I was talking to my mother because that was the only number I could get a hold of or remember while I was in the jail. So I told my mother to have someone bail me out. I can only assume maybe Christina hadn't paid with a credit card or something.
That's what I thought. So why don't we talk about the bond violations next? So Ms. Conlon, what is Mr. Hoy's position on those?
Well, Mr. Hoy certainly doesn't dispute he would have had a positive, his benchmark would be positive for THC. Without knowing the levels in what certainly the level was on his second test, I think it may still have been in his system. Mr. Hoy and I have discussed this several times. He did have a medical marijuana card, I believe, in Washington. He knows he doesn't have one here, and he can't use marijuana here, and I believe he hasn't been using marijuana, Your Honor. With regard to the check-ins, again, Mr. Hoy, he's been in constant contact with me through this. I know he's been in frequent contact with Miss Smuss. He tells me he had been checking in within the windows that he's supposed to check in. So I honestly don't know what happened there. I had not heard anything from Miss Smuss that he hadn't been checking in. She's usually pretty good on getting a hold of me if there's an issue with a client, one of my clients not contacting her. So honestly, I don't know what happened. He tells me he's been checking in.
So how are you checking in, Mr. Hoy?
Through the app on my phone, Judge, I have alarms set on my phone for every single check-in time. I receive a text and a push notification. Courtney Smith had informed me that it's a little less tight with the times than the blow machine. You can check in up to 10 minutes before and 10 minutes after. I've even been wearing a Google Pixel watch at work so I can feel my wrist vibrate, and I take breaks at work to check in. So I honestly, sir, I have no idea what's going on. Maybe I checked in a little too early because the text notifications tend to come in 15 till, and I was told I could check in either 10 minutes before the time or 10 minutes after. So the only thing I could imagine is maybe I checked in a little too early, but I can maybe if we could have someone look and see if the actual entries are there, it was just considered to be the wrong time. I've been working 6 days a week. I can guarantee you I have physically done these check-ins, Judge.
Well, all right, we'll take a look at that. Where are you working?
I'm working at Painting by Dawn, Judge.
Is that in Traverse City?
Yes, Judge.
So looks like you're originally from the state of Washington. You've got two pending cases there and one pending in Illinois. What are you doing in Traverse City?
Well, Judge, I had met my fiance and her family lives in Chicago. And then I was being told that, due to the court case with my ex-wife and the divorce, that I wasn't going to be able to see my kids for about a year. I was running out of money from being left homeless after my ex-wife or soon to be ex-wife had removed me from the house. And I had saw that an Airbnb over this way was, only $2,000 a month for a refurbished or a pre-furnished unit versus, any place that I could find on the West Coast was $3,500 plus, need a background check. I had been out of work as a union carpenter for quite some time due to the economy, and I had brought my truck I had just purchased and about $13,000 in carpentry tools. I was trying to find work over here, Judge, so it was just somewhere more affordable.
So you came here for Traverse City, to Traverse City, primarily because you found this Airbnb, and before coming here, you were in Chicago, is that right?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, well, I guess, that's very interesting. So there were two other people in this Airbnb when this thing happened, and Ashley, Vanessa. Did you know them before this, or were they at the bar also and went back with you?
They were at the bar, Judge, and actually, Christopher and Christina had went to go get them after the fact that we had came to the apartment because they had called us. We had met them that night, but they didn't come over till after.
So this is so weird because, you're from Washington, you got pending cases there, pending in Illinois, you come here only because of this Airbnb that was affordable. You meet these two women, and Mr. Can't remember what bar this was, Union Street Station. You all go back to, I guess, your Airbnb. Ms. Denicolo then decides to go upstairs or on the roof of the place to the hot tub with Mr. They come back downstairs eventually, find you in bed with one of these other two women that were at the bar with you never knew before. That's how this whole thing got started. Police show up, they attempt to arrest you, and you resisted for a bit. They're trying to take you into custody. They put you in the back seat of a police car. They say that you began striking the plastic protective divider of the driving cockpit with your head multiple times. They had to open the door and push you back into the seat, I guess, to keep you from hurting yourself. This whole factual scenario is just very strange. Magistrate sets a $20,000 10% bond. Ms. Denicolo pays it. This is just strange. Sounds like you're a public safety risk, frankly, with these two pending drug drivings, a pending DV that you never took care of in 21, so you probably absconded there. I don't know. I'm not feeling too comfortable with this, with Mr. Hoy being out. He's not from here. He's came here for the reasons he stated, just probably in late March or early April. I'm just not comfortable at all. He's pled guilty to assault and battery. I know there's more to this case. Probation will figure that out. But I think given all of these circumstances, he's no longer entitled to bond. So I'm going to remand him to jail until sentencing. He'll get credit for all the time he serves at time of sentencing. Probably, we can't put him on probation here because who knows what state he's gonna go to next, so. So you have to turn yourself into the jail here immediately, Mr. Hoy. We'll try to expedite sentencing as much as we can, so. All right. We're all set.
Apologies, did you want a PSI ordered for
Yeah, let's
sentencing?
get a PSI.
Okay, thank you.
I'll ask that it be expedited. All right, so there we go. We're all set, everybody.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you.